I'm about to show you guys this thing. It's pretty funny. And if you're just listening, you can just listen to, but going to YouTube is going to be a little bit better for this episode. So for a little bit of context before I hit play on this video, one, I came across this as an article, and then I clicked in it, and then the browser that I use, it did like the article view of it. So I just saw the article and I just read the article and I thought it was funny enough to do a react on just an article. But then I was like, oh, maybe there's a video. And I didn't think there was going to be. And I clicked out of the reader view or whatever. And sure enough, CBS Evening News, they did not disappoint. And here is
I don't know what this is about, but the fact that it was already newsworthy, it makes me pretty excited.
Here is CBS Evening News talking to us about one of the most recent college courses.
Yes.
In just a few short hours, Taylor Swift will release her much-anticipated 11th studio album, The Tortured Poets Department. But Swift's cultural impact goes far beyond her music and record-breaking tours. It's now entered college classrooms.
Oh, God.
Here's CBS's Jolene Kent.
All the marketing strategies in the world will only work if you have a good product to market.
You might not expect a business school course to begin like this. But at UC Berkeley, Taylor Swift is not just a tortured poet. She's a case study in how to build an empire.
Taylor Swift is...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Like, revitalized so much of the economy and boosted the local economy everywhere she goes.
Undergrad Sophia Lendahl and Miad Vashala teach artistry and entrepreneurship. Taylor's version.
Her songwriting ability is what gives her
To four fellow students.
They're charging people's parents for this.
things that she
Okay,
So many things, you guys.
I think maybe you should say why it is that you're laughing.
This is hilarious. So what is this, a marketing class? What is this?
I think it's business school.
It's business. Oh my God, that's even funnier.
Undergraduates.
So what these kids need to know and what they should be being taught in their marketing class at their, what is this, UC Berkeley? It's got to be. What they should be being taught is that spending money that you don't have instead of going out and honing a craft or building a business or learning something that is actually useful is the best way to get to the point where you create enough value that you can employ people and stimulate the economy. And also, what they don't realize is if you are as good as Taylor Swift is at building a business, eventually NYU will turn around and just give you a college degree for free. That is
Yeah, so that's, you're jumping ahead. Let's keep watching because that's where this got me, which was I did the whole honorary degrees, and I'll link it in the show notes for everybody. That episode where I go over like the marketing of honorary degrees, and Taylor Swift was a recipient of one of those degrees.
Oh, okay. They're talking about, okay.
loyal customers. And that's what Taylor has.
There's a reason top institutions are studying that. They know that this is like a trend.
Universities nationwide are teaching the Swift effect in departments from science to gender studies.
Right
So
now.
for those not watching, they are aware that she didn't get a degree and then put up a picture of her getting her honorary.
They white labeled the on her. They white labeled the out of Taylor Swift just now.
And they have a picture of her getting her honorary degree. And I don't know if this was honorary. I thought that it was from...
It's from NYU.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it was from NYU.
And that's what I found funny about this was that they're like, yeah, she went to college. Like, well...
No, she was just so good that they gave her a degree. Because that's what happens when you're really good at something.
Yeah.
So the craziest part about this is that these are all kids that want to be marketers or want to be in business. The creative risk they should all be taking is they should be in business or working at a business or just getting a job to learn this instead of sitting in this class. What are the qualifications of the people teaching this class?
That's a great question.
And I only say qualifications because colleges, they're so big on credentialism. What are the credentials of the people that are charging these students to take this marketing class?
I mean, maybe they work for Taylor Swift.
Maybe they work for Taylor Swift, which would be super funny because maybe there would be some value there. But all of this is very interesting. A college is selling essentially a case study of a degree-free billionaire. They're selling these kids paper instead of empowering them to go do what Taylor Swift did, which is learn on her own and build on her own.
I thought this was hilarious when I first saw it, and I was just like, she's degree free. Why are they making a college class for it?
Well, I wonder if they're doing the pre-marketing where they're explaining to them, hey, by the way, this is how she learned all of these things without a college degree, without buying a degree and sitting in these classes and doing this, right? Because she learned it from experience. She learned it from doing. What's interesting about this is I'm willing to bet they're not, in this case study that they're doing of her success, breaking down the fact that a large reason that she was successful was because she wasn't sitting in a college classroom paying for paper for years. Instead, she was out doing, she was out building, she was out learning. And truthfully, what they talked about there about her getting back her master record labels was an incredibly savvy business ordeal, and not the original part of it, but that mistake led her to make some very wise decisions down the line, a mistake she wouldn't have made if she had been sitting in a classroom for 4 years.
Maybe not. I'm not sure. One of the reasons why she is who she is, and this is just from somebody who has studied at least a little bit of how she became so popular, especially in the beginning. One of the things is just time in the market.
Yeah, she's been doing it forever.
She's been doing it since she's like 12 years. She's been famous since she's been like 12, 14, something like that. She's been making music and doing this. How old is she now? 32?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years of doing the exact same thing day in and day out. And she just, every step of the way, she just kept leveling up. What skills do I need to learn to get to the next level? Okay, now I'm at this level now. How do I get to the next level after that? Okay, well, I'm at this level. How do I get to the next level? And that's just really how anybody, I mean, it's not a secret formula. There's no secret sauce to it. I'm sure there's a bunch of luck to it, and I'm sure there's a crap load of hard work. Sure, absolutely. But really, when it all breaks down to it, to get to that level, I mean, it's just a bunch of, you get to this level, and then you get to this level, and then you get to this level.
Mm-hmm. If you read about her, she's incredibly hardworking. I'm actually not a Swiftie. I'm not particularly a fan, but objectively, she's extremely hardworking, and she's obviously extremely disciplined to get to that level. You have to be. It kind of reminds me of, remember when you told me that story about Leonardo DiCaprio saying that he remembered thinking, oh, maybe I won't be an actor? Or what was the story? Can you tell the story?
I don't know if this story is true. I've read this on the internet. I thought it was funny. And it was somebody saying that Leonardo DiCaprio was talking to him and basically saying like, yeah, I remember when I had self-doubt of like when I thought that I couldn't be an actor and when I thought I couldn't do that, like do this job and perform at this high level. And they were like, oh, how old were you? It was 13.
Crazy. Can you imagine doubting your career at 13 years old? That's crazy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And so, I mean, she's another example of that. I mean, maybe if one of these people just did the same thing, even with this class, hopefully they take all this learning and then they do apply it and then they do whatever it is for 20 years and then they become successful in whatever endeavors that they want to do for 20 years. Hopefully that's the lesson that they're going to learn here. One of the many lessons I hope that they learn.
This kind of takes me down a little bit of a rabbit trail, but I've wondered about this before because the great artists were all apprentice, right? Like Da Vinci and Raphael and Michelangelo, they were all apprentice, very young. That's how they taught great artisans. And there's a school, and I've wanted to do this on the podcast for a while. I will eventually we'll get to it, but there's a school in New York called the New York Professional Children's School. And basically what it is a school that allows child actors, child performers to work, but also graduate high school. So they get their high school credits, so they get a diploma when they are done, but they are working full time and the entire school is structured around their work. And I've always wondered, so some crazy people have come out of that school, like Scarlett Johansson graduated from this school. It's very prominent. It's very wealthy. Wealthy people send their kids there if that, like talented performers, or they want them to be. And I've often wondered if we treated other people and other professions and allowed them that opportunity to work if they so chose, if they wanted to at that age, if we would have people that were much better much earlier. Because I remember reading about Bill Gates, and when he was young, he was kind of doing the same thing. Around that like 12, 13, he was taking apart computers. And you can't discount that, like time in market, like time with hands-on doing something, that eventually leads to outstanding or outperforming skill.